Continuăm seria de emisiuni despre cum puteți obține cel mai ușor o viză de lucru sau de rezidență în Statele Unite, de la un specialist în domeniu, Sheridan Green, un avocat de imigrări din Houston, Texas.
Hello, my name is Sheridan Green. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer. My job is to help people get visas. Last time, we talked about different immigration statuses and different visas in the U.S. Today, I want to talk about changing status, and I also want to talk a little more about the H-1B visa, because it is H-1B season. First, let's talk about changing status. For example, if you come to the U.S. as a visitor and you want to change to a different status, such as F1 or E2, you can actually file an application with USCIS and not have to deal with the U.S. consulate in your home country. And just as a reminder, because these are the examples we are going to be using, an F1 is a student status. You could apply for that if you wanted to study at a university or maybe pursue a master's degree in the U.S. And an E2 is the investor status. It requires you to invest your own money in a business in the U.S. that you own at least 50% of. So here are the rules for changing status. You have to file an application to change status called an I-539, and you have to file it at least one day before your visitor status expires. You may notice that USCIS says on its website that you should do it 45 days in advance, but that is just a precaution. The reality is that you need to do it before your status expires. If you file it after, even one day after, then they will not be able to grant it. But if you get it filed on time and then your status expires, which it usually does, before there is a decision, because these things can take a while, then assuming you meet the requirements, your change of status application can be approved, and it will be treated as if you were in valid status all along. One more thing you need to know about changing status is that it does not get you a visa, it only gets you status. So if you're going to need to travel, it is sometimes a good idea to apply for the visa anyway. All right, now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about H-1B visas. We are now in the time of year that we call H-1B season. This is because for the next fiscal year, which begins in October of 2018, all H-1B applications are due on April 2nd, that is 6 months before. So all applications need to arrive to USCIS on April 2nd. The ones that arrive on time, USCIS will gather them up, assign numbers to them, and then conduct a lottery where they will randomly pick about 100,000. Now, there are only 85,000 available, but statistically they know that some will be denied, so they pick more than there are available. But probably around 200,000 people will apply, so there are not enough, and this is why they do the lottery. This is important to know because an employer has to understand the risks going in that you have maybe a 50% chance of being selected. And then once you are selected in the lottery, USCIS may issue a request for evidence which challenges your qualifications, and you have to respond to it. And you may not know until October or November whether your application was approved. And they have been tougher recently on certain professions. For example, they have been hard on entry-level computer programmers. So sometimes getting one of these approved can take some work. But remember that H-1Bs work for any kind of professional occupation, including teachers, scientists, architects, engineers, etc. Anything requiring a 4-year degree. And once you get it, the H-1B has a lot of nice features that make it easier to take the next step, which is permanent residency. So they can be hard to get, but if you are interested in living permanently in the US, it is a worthwhile path to take. Next time, we're going to talk about O visas, and we're going to get a little bit into permanent residency and the different pathways to permanent residency that a person can take. See you next time on ARCA TV.
Doamnelor și domnilor, în luna martie, colegii din Los Angeles vă vor aduce surprize plăcute. Tudor Petruț se gândește dacă își va rade barba pentru a prezenta emisiunea și așteptăm să vedem ce surprize ne va face. Încercăm să producem și un talk show, avem mai multe idei, tot mai mulți români ne contactează și se îmbarcă în ARCA TV. Biletul deocamdată e ieftin, așa că veniți cât ține promoția. Până luna viitoare, pentru moment, sperăm să reușim să vă determinăm să faceți efortul de a da un like și un share pe Facebook și de a vă abona la canalul YouTube ARCA TV USA și de a vizita pagina noastră la www.arcatv.us. Din Chicago, Marian Petruța vă urează numai bine!